There is a reason the 7th floor button is taped over. There is a reason the stairwell is welded shut. But when the lights die in Caracas, the electronic locks stop working, and you find out what your nice, quiet neighbors are actually eating. You don't ask questions in Caracas anymore, not if you want to see the morning. I got the apartment cheap because the previous tenant fled the country. 7th floor of a gated tower in Altamira. It had a working generator for the elevators and, supposedly, 24-hour security. That was the lie they sold me. The building manager, Dennis, handed me the keys with a look that said, "Good luck." He pointed to the elevator panel. "Button 7 is taped over," he said. "The floor is unfinished, concrete skeleton. Squatters got in a few years back. We welded the stairwell doors shut, but the elevator... Sometimes it glitches. Don't go there. If you hear noises, turn up your radio." I nodded. I just wanted a lock on my door and a roof that wasn't leaking. Week 2, the blackouts started hitting hard. That's when I met Juan. He was my neighbor on 8. Older guy, looked like a retired professor. Soft-spoken, clean clothes, which was a rarity. We met in the lobby during a power surge. He had a small dog, a terrier, that looked too well-fed for a city where people were eating garbage. "You're the new guy in 7B, he said, not a question. "Yeah. Alone?" I hesitated. "For now." He smiled, tight and polite. "Smart. Keep it that way. I'm Juan." He became my lifeline. When the water trucks didn't show, Juan had jugs to spare. When the internet died, he had a satellite radio. He invited me over for coffee. Real coffee. In a starving city, that's a power move. We'd sit in his living room, watching the dark city below, listening to the distant pop of gunfire from the barrios. He made me feel like we were safe in a fortress. I was an idiot. Tuesday night, the grid died completely. The whole city went black. No streetlights, no glow from windows. Just a suffocating, heavy dark. I was trying to sleep when someone pounded on my door. It was Juan. He didn't have the dog. He was sweating, holding a flashlight that shook in his hand. "My unit is flooding," he whispered. "Pipe burst. I need to move the dry goods to the storage lockers. Help me?" "The lockers are in the basement," I said, grabbing my keys. "No," he shook his head. "The secure ones, on the unfinished floor. I have a key to the freight elevator override." The 7th floor. My gut twisted. "Dennis said that place is sealed." "Dennis is a coward," Juan snapped. "Please, I have 3 months of rice and powdered milk. If it gets wet, I starve. We starve." That "we" got me. I owed him. We got into the service elevator. It was running on the backup generator, humming loudly in the silence. Juan pulled a jagged piece of metal from his pocket and jammed it into the keyhole under the panel. He hit the button for 7. The lift lurched. The air grew stale, smelling of wet concrete and something coppery. Ding! The doors rattled open. It wasn't just unfinished. It was a ruin. Exposed rebar, piles of rubble, darkness that swallowed the beam of our flashlights. And the smell. It wasn't mold. It was ammonia and rot. "This way," Juan said. He wasn't shaking anymore. He walked fast, stepping over debris like he knew the path by heart. "Juan, where are the lockers?" "Back corner." We turned a corner into a long, windowless corridor. There were no storage units, just rooms with no doors. In the first room, I saw a mattress on the floor, stained dark brown. In the second room, I saw a pile of clothes, women's shoes, a child's backpack. I stopped. The backpack had a cartoon cat on it. It looked new. "Juan," my voice caught in my throat. He stopped 10 feet ahead of me. He didn't turn around. "You know," he said, his voice calm, echoing off the bare concrete. "It's amazing what people leave behind when they disappear. Juan, let's go back." He turned around. The flashlight beam hit his face. He was smiling. A wide, empty smile that didn't reach his eyes. He reached into his pocket. Not for a key, for a knife. A long, taped-up kitchen knife. "The problem with the new tenants," he said, taking a step toward me, is that you don't have enough cash on you to make this quick. But you're young, you can work. I realized then, the well-fed dog, the coffee, the security. He wasn't a retired professor. He was a vulture, a spotter. He lived in the building to find targets and drag them down here where no one could hear the screaming. Who was the backpack for, Juan? I shouted, backing up. Don't worry about them, he lunged. I scrambled back, tripping over a coil of wire. I hit the ground hard. The flashlight spun away, creating a strobing, chaotic light. Juan was on top of me in a second. He smelled like sour sweat and old blood. I grabbed his wrist, the knife inching toward my neck. Nobody's coming, he hissed, spit hitting my face. Dennis knows. Dennis takes a cut. That broke me. The anger flooded out the fear. I headbutted him, hard. I felt his nose crunch. He screamed, reeling back, clutching his face. I kicked him in the chest, scrambling to my feet. I didn't look back. I ran blindly through the dark, slamming into walls, tearing my skin on exposed rebar. I heard him scrambling up behind me. Get back here, you fuck! You can't leave! I hit the elevator buttons, mashing them with my fist. Come on, come on! He was limping around the corner, blood pouring down his chin, the knife raised. The doors groaned. Slowly, agonizingly slowly, they began to close. Juan threw himself at the gap, slashing the air inches from my face. I know where you sleep, he screamed as the doors sealed shut. I didn't go to my apartment. I didn't go to the police. The police work with guys like Juan. I grabbed my passport and my emergency cash from my hidden vent, and I ran. I slept on the street that night, 3 miles away. I found out later, from a forum post, that the building had a fire 2 weeks later. The 7th and 8th floors burned out completely. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe someone fought back harder than I did. But sometimes, when I'm trying to sleep in this new, shitty apartment in Bogota, I close my eyes and I see that backpack. And I wonder how many cups of coffee Juan bought with the money he made from that little girl. We aren't haunted by ghosts. We're haunted by what we let people do to us.